Howdy, folks. Father Corey Stika. It's hard to believe, but today's the last day of the pilgrimage. It's been an incredible pilgrimage. It's been a lot of great things to do and to see. Been great people. It's really, we've had a wonderful group, a group that's become fairly close knit. It does help that the majority of the group did come from a parish down in Texas. But even those of us who are outsiders were quickly brought into the group, and I feel like we had a really good group. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. We had learned a lot, saw a lot, did a lot. It's been a great experience. Today was almost a kind of a downer compared to the last couple of days, which were go, 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 see all these things. We only did a couple of things today. We started out this morning by having Mass at the church on the location of the house of Mary and Martha and Lazarus. Of course, that's the house where our Lord would visit. He visited several times, the place where Lazarus, the one who was raised from the dead, lived. So there's a church there, beautiful church. We were able to have Mass there, and it was just, a beautiful place for it. Beautiful images on the walls showing different events within Martha and Mary's relationship with our Lord. After that, we went down the street just a little ways to Lazarus's tomb. It's actually right there. The tomb is right close by the church, only a couple hundred feet. It's very windy, narrow staircase to get down, very steep, not very pleasant, not very easy to get down. It's doable, but it's just not a lot of fun. Get down to the bottom, you've got this little antechamber, and then you can look into the actual tomb itself, which was not very big at all. And it was supposedly a tomb for many families, so they would be multiple people buried in that tomb. But it was still interesting to go and visit that, and then climb back up and head back to the bus to head on to our next spot, which was going towards the Dead Sea. We actually spent a little bit of time today down by the Dead Sea, most of today down by the Dead Sea. And of course, it's a little bit of a journey from the Jerusalem area. I think it took us about an hour or so each direction to make that trip. Maybe not quite that much, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes as I think about it. But we ended up first going to Qumran, which was the location of the location where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. That's the location where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, that they were hidden in these caves. And back in the late 40s, there was this shepherd boy who was looking for a lost sheep. And, it sounds like a parable. It sounds like a parable from our Lord, but it really was what was happening. And he happened to throw a rock into this fissure, this cave. And he heard a crash, and he heard it clink around, that there was much more to this cave than it appeared. Well, it turns out that what he found were a bunch of scrolls that had been left there by a group called the Essenes. That they, when the Romans were were taking over Israel, were taking over what we call Palestine and Israel, or what was called Palestine at the time, we now call Israel. These Essenes hid all their scrolls. They had been copying and recopying the scriptures and their rule of community and things like that. And they hid them in these caves. Well, these caves, they lain hidden in these caves for 1900 years. So for a very long time, they were just there. And of course, it's a very dry climate down there. It's a very dry heat down there. It was very warm. It was quite wonderful, to be honest with you. But it was very warm down there, and it was that dry heat of a desert. So they lay hidden until the shepherd boy found them. And eventually, archaeologists came and found 11 caves worth of these scrolls. And most of the scrolls are the Old Testament, what we as Christians call the Old Testament, what Hebrews would call the Bible. And kind of a fascinating fact I remember learning last time I was here, that when they took the Dead Sea Scrolls and they compared it to the current Hebrew text, the texts that were being used by Jews and by Hebrew speakers today, they were something like 95 to 99% accurate. That it had been passed down for 2,000 years in an accurate form, or in almost 100% accurate form, with very, very few mistakes made during that period. That's incredible if you think about it. When you think of the whole of the Old Testament, and only 1% of it at some point had some errors. And they may not even been errors. They might have just been copying flaws that had been passed on from generation to generation. So it was really incredible to see that. It's always incredible to go there. It's a beautiful area. It really is a very beautiful area. The cliffs and everything are just beautiful, magnificent. From there, after having lunch there, we went to the Dead Sea itself. We went to a little resort area, a little beach area, including the lowest bar in the world, the lowest altitude bar in the world. Yes, negative 418 feet, I believe it is. I've got the video for that, which is kind of neat. But we went down to the Dead Sea, and some people put their feet in or touched it with their hand. We didn't go swimming. We didn't want to do that, or at least we were encouraged not to do that by our leader, our guide. So I had done that already in the past, so I wasn't too worried about it. But others took the chance at least to stick their feet in it or to touch it, so they could at least say they've been at the Dead Sea and been in it, or at least touched it. And then after that, we returned home. It was again, kind of a little bit of a drive to get back here. And now we're settled back in. We're gonna have, or they're gonna have, big dinner, kind of big going away dinner tonight. I'm actually not going to be able to make that. I'll be down there for drinks. I'll be able to join them for kind of a final goodbye. But I have to be heading to the airport about the time they're going to start dinner because sadly I have a earlier flight than they do. I have to fly out this evening. So probably by the time you see this, most likely by the time you see this, that I posted online, I will be in the United States. I'll be posting this from either my hotel in Billings tomorrow night or from my home in Malta in 2 days. But it's been a great pleasure to be on this retreat. This has been a wonderful experience. It's always a wonderful experience to come to the Holy Land. I highly recommend, if you have the opportunity, anyone watching, if you have the opportunity to come here, even if it's just a week and a half retreat like this, if you can come here and spend some time and visit these holy sites and walk where our Lord has walked, it is so worth it. It really and truly is. If nothing else, you will never read the scriptures again the same way again when you can open it up and read about Jerusalem and you can picture the city as it is today. When you can read about Bethlehem, that our Lord was laid in a manger in Bethlehem, and see the star, which is at the site of the Church of the Nativity, the site where our Lord was born. See the manger that our Lord was laid in. See all of this. You will never read the scriptures again. So I highly recommend it. And I thank you for watching my videos. I hope I can do something like this more in the future, where I just sit and talk to the camera and maybe do more things. But I thank you again, and I again will keep everyone who watches my videos in my prayers. And I ask that you keep me in your prayers as well. Thank you very much, and may God bless you all.